Hey there guys, Mike here. Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection is back with a new episode, and today I'm going to feature some films by one of the best actors the Hollywood's ever known, really. And you may have not heard of him, or you may have heard of him, but he's definitely one of my favorite actors. None other than John Garfield, and kind of started off on the stage, and then he came to Hollywood. Started appearing in movies around 1938 or before, and started out working at Warner Brothers. And a couple of these movies are Warner Brothers movies, and I'll discuss them with you. So the first one, this is from 1941. These are in no order, and it's not certain studios or anything, just some certain John Garfield movies that I got off the shelf recently to just really dig in and watch some of his stuff. But this one came out in 1941, and it's based on the Jack London book. This is the Seawolf, and it also stars Ida Lupino and Edward G. Robinson, and it's a really good movie. And of course, Edward G. Robinson plays the downright, almost deranged, evil captain of this boat. First off, John Garfield gets into some trouble, and he's kind of on the run, and he kind of hides out on this boat by choice. A lot of people have to, the crew members have to get other people drunk and knock them out, and they wake up aboard of this ship and they can't leave, and they end up being on this ship and everything. But he volunteers himself to get on this boat, and just to hide out from the law and everything. And the same thing with Ida Lupino. She's kind of a small time petty criminal who's kind of has different aliases and everything, and she ends up hiding out on she gets in the boat too, gets on there on the ship, and after that it's just a crew of all sorts of types on, as you can think of, all kinds of low-life types and down and out guys, and just on this boat. And one of the other people, let me see who else is in this. Barry Fitzgerald and Gene Lockhart and Alexander Knox star in this. I think it's Alexander Knox is the writer who kind of takes down a lot of the stories that the Captain Wolf Larson starts talking about his life and different things like that, and starts exploring who this guy really is, and they start finding out and everything. But it's based on it's a famous Jack London book and everything like that, and it's a pretty good film adaptation. I believe it was done in the 90s with Charles Bronson as the Wolf Larson character, I believe, and really good. I really enjoyed this. It's always a pretty solid Warner Brother movie, pretty good stuff. Next up, this is a Criterion Blu-ray edition from 1950. This movie came out, The Breaking Point. And this is a little bit later era John Garfield. He was getting later. I mean, he would die really too young and everything, but this was close to that ending time there. I mean, he didn't have too much longer left in his life, but The Breaking Point. This is a great edition, by the way. It's got a lot of extras on here. This is a movie directed by Michael Curtiz, and it's got a great cast. Patricia Neal, Juano Hernandez, Wallace Ford, Phyllis Thaxter as his wife, and Patricia Neal as the kind of the gang. I don't know if she's quite a gangster's mole. She's just kind of hanging out with this guy. Starts tempting John Garfield, who's a family man, hardworking family man who's got this boat, who's the family's down and out, and they really need money. So he agrees to take these criminal types to a certain point and to be paid so much. But it's a big risk for him on many levels, and it turns into a really good suspenseful movie, a really good character study, and John Garfield is really good in this role. So there's The Breaking Point from 1950. Next up, this is a movie from, I believe this is 1948. I believe it's 48, but this is Force of Evil. This is one of John Garfield's best roles of all time. This is just a great movie. This is I believe this is the one, I always get them mixed up. Abraham Polanski, either he wrote one of his movies, and then another one he directed. Now this one, this is one Abraham Polanski directed, Force of Evil, and it's a classic film noir. It's about a unscrupulous lawyer played by John Garfield, who's kind of involved in a bookmaking racket and everything, and he has an older brother who runs his own little. I don't know if he does the same thing, but he does it on a different terms. He's not so much connected with the underworld or anything, and John Garfield's trying to bring him in to consolidate all these little bookie, say mom and pop small ones, in to bring them all together under one criminal leader to run it all, and everybody's supposed to get rich and everything, and it just shows the differences in loyalty to brother, a brotherly loyalty thing going on, and a lot about kind of a Cain and Abel kind of thing, and it's just a really great story. It has got kind of tragic in a way, and it just shows to what depths will the John Garfield character go to get what he wants, to get rich and everything, and it's very well written, very well directed, really good. Force of Evil. Also have this on a Arrow Academy set, Film Noir Volume 1. It's on there, but this is a single release of it. Classic, really all around classic one. Now this is the one I was thinking about. This is the one that Abraham Polanski wrote. It's directed by Robert Rawson. This one has John Garfield, Lily Palmer, Hazel Brooks, Anne Revere, William Conrad, Canada Lee. Screenplay by Abraham Polanski. Body and Soul. This is a great boxing movie, man. This is really good. You can tell this is a big influence on Scorsese. He really loved this movie. Brought elements to Raging Bull from it. It's such a great movie. Well made. You can see little touches of this on the waterfront. Raging Bull, different stuff that, definitely Scorsese took some stuff from, On the Waterfront for sure, and different little things, going towards that. But it's definitely one of the best boxing movies ever made. It's got the ringside, it's got all the good in the ring shots and setups, and then you got the story behind it and everything, and basically being used to make money and take a dive here and there. Great movie, Body and Soul. This is the DVD from Olive Films. Next up, I don't have the cover. I only have the disc only. It was one of those things where you ordered off eBay and you didn't look at the fine print and it said disc only, and I was like, So I have to show you this one. It doesn't have any cover art or anything, but this was I think this is 1941 also. This is Out of the Fog. And this is another really good John Garfield movie. It's also got Ida Lupino in it. And it's another kind of on the waterfront, takes place on the waterfront. Basically, John Garfield plays kind of a I don't know if he's quite a drifter, but he's kind of he's kind of scamming the people on this waterfront who live and work amongst the waterfront area. And what he does stuff like he'll set their boats on fire, and then he'll show up the next day and be like, well, I can give you protection, and the protection is that he's the one setting the fire. So if you pay me, I won't set your boat on fire no more, kind of deal, So it's really good, and it shows the interaction with, him kind of pestering Ida Lupino for her time, and starts to know her and develop a relationship with her, and at the same time, trying to screw her father out of stuff and everything. But it's a really interesting performance. Another great performance by John Garfield, just playing that character that just, similar to Force of Evil, where he's just, what will he not stoop to, and everything. And finally, guys, this is just a little episode, just kind of spotlighting a few John Garfield movies that you can kind of run out and check them off your list. All of these are so very good. This is from 1951. This is directed by John Barry. This is a Kino DVD. This is He Ran All the Way. And this is another really cool movie. It's got Shelley Winters in it. I'll read a little bit about this one. Let's see here. Nick Roby is a dim-witted thug who lives with his mother and scrapes by on petty crime. And he and his slick accomplice plot a big-time payroll robbery, but their plan goes terribly wrong when they're discovered by an ununiformed policeman. A shootout ensues, and leaving Al and the cop wounded and Nick on the run. While seeking cover, Nick meets Peggy Dobbs, played by Shelley Winters, a lonely young girl who takes Nick to her family's apartment. And while they're there, the paranoid thief decides to take the family hostage until he can escape. This was the great John Garfield's final film. He died less than a year later at age 39 from heart complications. As accusations of his involvement with the Communist Party and his refusal to name names before the testimonies, the House of Un-American Activities, whatever, led to his blacklisting in Hollywood. And during the film's initial run, director John Barry and screenwriter Dalton Trumbo and Hugo Butler were all uncredited due to Hollywood blacklisting during the Red Scare. Stunning black and white cinematography by legendary James Wong Howe. It's really cool. So yeah, he died way too young, 1951. It's a shame. Such a great actor who probably would have worked well into the 1980s, probably making movies and stuff, but it just shows the stress and everything put on actors and directors and writers during that brief time of the communist, witch hunts back then and stuff. But yeah, He Ran All the Way. Really good, great performance all around. It's hard to say John Garfield ever gave a bad performance. He's just always such a great actor, and you can tell the influence on future actors, especially on the later on in the 50s with more the Marlon Brandos and the James Deans and people doing more realistic, giving themselves, going deep into a character and stuff like that. Big influence on the next 20 years of movie making for sure, as far as an acting goes and stuff. So check out that film. Check out any of these films, or all of them. They're all great, and all variations of different stuff. From Warner Brothers studio star to doing some more kind of slightly more independent stuff with Robert Rolson and Abraham Prolonsky later on and stuff. So really good stuff. Check him out. He's a great actor and everything. So let me know in the comments what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. And don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.